Patsy and Dave, welcome to noise11.com as Patsy and Dave this time.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Great to talk to you again, and a new album, The Willow. Now, last time we talked was Midnight Choir. The album came out just over 2 years ago, so 2 years in between the albums. How far back was it that you started working on the songs for The Willow?
We had some early material
that
went on the album that hadn't previously been released, or we had the background music recorded, but
hadn't done the vocals.
So
2014, there you go.
Yeah, we had to revisit some of those songs.
10 years, some of those songs have been in the making.
We thought, well, why not? You know, we still like them. And of course, you know, there's a few songs that Patsy's doing the lead vocal on. And we revisited those songs and really liked them. So they ended up on the album. But I think we were probably writing for The Willow for probably close to 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you say you go back to 2014, is there a Patsy and Dave vault of unused songs that you can revisit when you need?
There was. There's not anymore.
I think we pretty much used them all up now.
Yeah.
The Willow, the title track off the album, is one of two collaborations you've got with the legendary Russell Morris on this song. He's a label mate as well. Let's go through that particular song to start with. If you can take us through how that song evolved from the three songwriters that, Patsy, Dave and Russell have all contributed to this song. Tell me how the song was conceived, how it evolved, and, take us up to the point where we hear it when we play the record.
Well, when Russell agreed to write some songs with us, sort of got us really thinking pretty hard on what we thought that we kind of knew that he was hankering for a ballad. And I'm a sucker for a ballad. I really love ballads. And I had a thought. I've been thinking about this idea for a while for a song, and it was where we lived as a child for a short time. We lived in a bungalow, my parents and I, at my grandparents' house in Essendon, and that's where the big old willow tree was. And I just remembered back in those days, we were just drawn to it. It was a massive weeping willow, and we used to play under it, swing off the branches, and make kangaroo tails out of the branches and all that sort of stuff. And there was a rockery under it as well, where we used to have barbecues, and we made forts under there and did all sorts of stuff with that willow tree. It was just like a magical sort of, thing that we were drawn to.
The willow means a lot more, though, than just, the tree that Dave recalled when he was a kid. The concept for the song is around, more of an environmental patch there as well, and the reason why the willow was so perfect was because it's got a lot of healing powers and a lot of ethereal things going on in the background. But the fact that the willow remained, and there's a lot of urban sprawl around it, there's a whole lot of themes that are sort of in that song, with the willow as the focus.
But Dave, I assume then you've kicked off the origins of the song and then passed it along to Patsy and then passed it along to Russell?
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting the way that Russell wanted to work, because I thought we'd jump on to a Zoom and we'd just write in real time together. But he indicated that he doesn't like to write that way. So he said, I need to go away and think about things. So he goes, you come up with a bit of a melody, an idea, a few chords, and send that through, and I'll give you my input. And that's how we worked. We went backwards and forwards like that for quite some time, and we were really just blown away.
Blown away with the way when he come back with a suggestion, it was always right on point. I
don't think he ever came back with one like an idea. We thought, no, that
doesn't work.
That doesn't work. It was always great, and obviously his experience as a musician
in terms of
and a singer-songwriter really shone through. It was great. He was great to work with.
He was great, setting up the song, understanding the concept, and then, introducing the tree, the whole concept of the song. That was Russell, because we came up with some ideas that didn't actually. He said, you haven't really introduced the tree. You haven't really introduced its setting. You haven't. Oh, well, we haven't really. So that encouraged him to come back with more ideas around that. And then we
were trying to get into the chorus a little bit
too early. But no, he was fabulous. Honestly, everything that he suggested was just right on point and perfect.
Yeah.
And we've ended up with an amazing. I think it's an amazing song. I think it's.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing too, which was the biggest bonus of all, was when Russell said, not only will I write the song with you, but I'd really like to perform the song with you. And we of course, that blew us away, but we didn't appreciate that our harmonies would be so good together. You know, the three-way harmonies on that song are quite unique. Yeah.
I'm one of the few people lucky enough to have seen you and Russell perform the song live. How will you get around performing the song live in the future when you're out touring?
We performed the song just on Sunday, actually, down at the Pirates Tavern in Williamstown, the venue where Patsy and I met about 17 years ago. And I did mention Russell, and I said, look, I wish Russell was here to perform this with us, because, you know, the three-way harmonies is always amazing. But no, we just I had to sing all the lead vocal myself, and Patsy harmonised through. So it's a slightly different version, different sound, but I still think it's we did it some sort of justice.
I'm kind of disappointed that there's no Russell avatar or Russell hologram.
No, I know that's something we need to come up with. I'm not sure how we do it.
We have to look into that.
Yeah, we could just sort of do a little hologram on the side of the stage. It's a very good idea.
I think the inflatable Russell Morris doll
we could do that.
With its little lips that just move up and down.
That's a great idea.
I think he'd be really thrilled if we did something like that for him.
Yeah, that's that's the first of two songs on the album. Rumblin Train is the other Russell Morris collaboration on this record, and that's a much more up-tempo track.
Totally different. It's amazing. We thought we had the idea for Rumblin Train, which is an interesting little twist on that song, and it's all around Peru and Machu Picchu, because Dave and I went there after recording first time in Nashville. We did a little bit of a sort of a side tour on the way home. And I recall that we were sitting in one of the restaurants at the bottom of Machu Picchu and having dinner, and then all of a sudden the glasses started to shake on the table, and there was this monstrous roar. And I said to Dave, I didn't know there was a train behind this building running down the valley.
And you know what, Paul? It wasn't a train.
It was
a train track there, but it was actually an earthquake.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the Rumblin Train, so the Rumblin Train started with that roar, and you know how trains sort of rattle the environment that's around them. So we decided we'd make it about, it's really about an earthquake, which is where the Ring of Fire comes in and all that sort of stuff, because that's precisely where we were.
So the song was actually written from a title. So Patsy said, I've got this idea for a title for a song, and it's Rumblin Train. I'm hearing Rumblin Train in my head. And you know what? To be fair, I thought, well, we hadn't written a train song.
And we didn't want to disappoint anybody else.
Yet, so I thought, well, this is a great opportunity to write a train song and have it a bit more up-tempo, sort of, you know, bluesy. And I thought, well, hopefully Russell will sort of like this kind of vibe.
And who would have thought? Russ, of course, is right up Russell's alley, isn't it? And he came up with this amazing bluesy, you know, music. We sent over to him which we thought was blues, but when it came back, it was much rockier blues from Russell, and so we were able to kind of fit the song in around that. And you know, Russell obviously came up with some lyrics, and like it was a very much a three-way collaboration again. It's just turned out amazingly well. We love playing it. The band really get off on it. It's an amazing song, and it's so different.
And we had people, when we performed it on Sunday, we had people, the whole dance floor was full.
Yeah.
And we performed that song. So
and they asked for
actually we had to do it twice.
Yeah, we did. We had to do it again. And that was without Russell, without that little.
So we do need that. We did need to blow up Russell.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, I don't even want to think about that. What? Moving right along. Well, we can talk. We can talk about. If we're going to be smutty, we can go straight to the end of the album and talk about how big is it.
Oh, the end of the album. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Well,
who's the potty mouth in the band that came up with that one?
Hey,
look, isn't that clever though? Don't you think?
It's pretty clever.
You would sing a song about how big is your heart, but leave the heart out for some time until it's
Well, the thing is, the last 3 tracks on that album, you got "Wake Me Up Beside You" and "How Big Is It." I mean, that was not on purpose. We didn't put that in any sort of. It's just the way
the way it came out. So that probably appeases smut there.
Let's go back to talking about songs on the album that I think will sound live. I want to go to "Upside Down." "Upside Down" is a great up-tempo song again, and I would imagine that would be a very popular live track to put in the set list. It must be difficult for you with the Willow album because there are so many songs that sound like they are just made to be performed live, but that one in particular, I'd have a hard time dropping that off the set list. What about you guys?
Yeah, same. We it's a very very, very rocky. People love getting up and dancing to that song. It's got a lot of energy, all about a girl who's, spits on the dirt and leaves a country town and she's going to the big city. It's a really up-tempo song. We love it too. And the guys just love all those rocky songs. They just love performing, and I love singing them.
You can certainly feel the energy from the audience when you play tracks like that.
Totally. It's great.
Yeah.
There's so much diversity on this record too, and like if "Upside Down" can be acquainted to Don Henley, I think if I'm going to talk about "Just One Moon," I would lean that towards a Glenn Fry.
Yes.
You could sell that song to the Eagles. I mean, what a great song that is.
It's one of my favourites song. One of the favourite songs that I've recorded over the years, and I remember it was one of the first, when we first went to Nashville, we had a whole heap of songs pitched to us by American songwriters and
that was
all around the world, and that was one of the first songs that we picked. And I remember being in the vocal booth and doing a scratch vocal while the band put down the track, and a couple of the guys, they said to me at the time, they said, "Geez, that's a great song," and they said, your voice is just like perfect for that song. You really sing it really well." And I mean, that was just made me relax a little bit more, because it was my first time surrounded by these amazing sort of session players, some of the best in the world, and to have them, say something like that. And
so many lovers and just one moon. To think that we all share the same moon, but it doesn't matter where you are. But we've also got Peru in that again, so there must be a bit of a South American theme coming through there after our earlier experience with Rumblin Train.
Yeah. What about the song A Lot Like Georgia, Patsy? One of your vocals taking lead on this one, and again, just a beautiful song.
Yeah, it's lovely. That's a Nashville songwriter by the name of Heather Wiggins, and she pitched that song to us at the same time, by the way, as we received the pitch for Just One Moon, and that is one of the ones that sat on the back shelf from a long time ago. That was in that, and we pulled it out and thought, no, let's finish it. So we did the vocals in our studio for this album. So that was it was lovely, actually, because it's a strange thing for me to be singing the lead, as you probably appreciate, Paul, because Dave is definitely the lead singer and I'm doing all of the harmony lines, but Dave's becoming a much better harmonizer since we've started doing this little project.
Since you've become Russell Morris backing singers.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I actually really
moved along.
I actually really enjoy doing harmonies, and Patsy's a lot more natural at harmonies than what I am. I've got to think of my harmony as a lead vocal, and then I can get through it. But I'm actually really enjoying honing my skills on the harmonies, and it's good that Patsy can actually do. I'm wanting Patsy to do a lot more lead stuff as well, because it just shows more of the diversity of what we can achieve. get.
Well, one of the songs you don't do harmonies on, David, is "Wake Me Up."
It's one of those songs I thrashed. I kept playing it over and over again, and we performed it in Tamworth one year on the Fan Zone stage, and we just did it as a duo. But I had the big stomp box, so I was stomping. We were just,
Banging
just
it, yeah.
guitar and piano, big stomp box. And I think Patsy had a. So I was doing the kick drum, and Patsy was triggering a snare drum. So we did it all as a duo, but it sounded huge on that big stage, and we had such a good reaction out of it, like people coming up and go, "Oh my God, that's an awesome version of that song. Which album has got?" And of course, we didn't have an album with the song on. We could have sold 200 copies.
Oh, I know, ridiculous. Yeah, that would have got us straight on the chart.
Yeah.
So, but it's a bit of a bluegrassy kind of country. I guess it's not as the sort of electronic version as you'd expect, but it's having the harmonies. It's a bit different. We've just done it in our own style. Yeah, it's great song.
So live work coming up. There is one show with Brian Cadd early 2025. You're going to be plans to sing with Brian on stage. I mean, while you're in the room together.
Oh, yeah. we could probably nick into a studio and do something there too. By the way, we're looking forward to that show. We're doing that on the 22nd of January, actually, up in Tamworth. I think it's a 5 o'clock show or something, late afternoon. So it's a good time for people to come and sit down in the cool, because of course it'll be really hot in Tamworth, and just enjoy. We just can't wait for that one.
We haven't actually spoken to Brian about potentially doing a song or two together. That's something that we haven't raised with him yet. But of course,
he's promoting his fantastic album, The Dream Train. So, we'll both be in a little bit of competition there, I gather.
Yeah, well, Dream Train, Rumblin Train. I could see a medley coming up.
Yeah. Well, we didn't call it Rumblin. Oh, that could be a good idea.
We didn't pitch any ideas.
No, we didn't.
Any ideas of Brian.
No, we didn't.
2025, you are also planning a lot more live shows and heading more out around the country than you've ever done before. So what's in store for the places that haven't seen you so far?
So we haven't been to Western Australia so far. So that's on our bucket list to get across there.
There are people
have been
wanting us back to South Australia. We've done a few things in South Australia, and they're going, "How come you haven't been back here for years?" And South Australia has quite a big sort of country scene there. So I think
Tassie, we've got some bookings in Tasmania already. We love Tasmania, and we just love the place, and we have some really great shows in Tassie. And then of course we're heading up to Brisbane via New South Wales, of course, and Queensland and Far North Queensland. So all of the map in terms of where we're going to be playing and all of that is just being organised at the moment. So we're looking forward to getting out and about and meeting people and, selling our product would be really nice. But just the opportunity to meet people would be really fantastic. Yeah.
Well, it'll be great for you to get out and start performing these songs, and it'll be interesting from your perspective to hear 12 months from now how these songs have evolved once they've had the chance to be performed live a few times, because, that tends to happen, doesn't it? That you get out, you perform, and, you think of things after the event, the song's already been recorded, and the songs change with time.
They do.
They do. We find it's probably even 12 months of, performing the songs live until you sort of, they change. You're exactly right. And a lot of people sort of don't realise that, but they are forever evolving. You're tweaking them and bringing new ideas in here and there, and just shifting that melody a little bit and the phrasing until it all, you feel really comfortable with it. So, looking forward,
very much looking forward to that.
All this.
Yeah.
Well, the new album is The Willow by Patsy and Dave, and we thank you for joining us at Noise 11, as does Winston. Winston says
Winston.
He would like to go on the road with you and tour, and, if you
Winston
need a roadie.
Welcome.
I'd like to take Winston.
Yeah, he's pretty cute.
He's
touring with us.
You got a job, Winnie.
He has. Thanks so much, Paul. Really appreciate your time again. Yeah,
Good to see
really.
you guys.